Hi, Keya.
Hi.
Okay.
Okay.
We're in the Barnes& and Noble, and we're going to do the library-friendly freestyle.
Yeah, please.
I'm not a rapper, those play it so passive. Marketer, producer, create my own massive. Display the total package, on stage I go spastic. So nasty, I'll make the radio active like chemical burn. From a feminine perm, except this here's natural, I'm destined to earn. I'm the cure, I'm a medical term. I'm redolent for gentlemen without patience that never could learn. It's your boy Jah C, live for Couch Sessions TV.
You like the way I do my thing and how I move. I see you flirting, working, stuff to me, that's cool. Hey, don't make me hanging too long. Yeah, my song will say a little.
So we just had a really good breakfast at IHOP in Harlem. It was tasty. French toast always wins, even though the girl got my order wrong, but that's whatever.
Cheese on the eggs, no.
It's a no-no. But you don't even eat eggs, so that doesn't even matter. Why you don't like eggs?
Huh? It's a dietary thing, I guess. I've never eaten them. I think it's an allergy. But I can have things with eggs in them, you know.
But you're African, so you're supposed to be able to eat everything.
Well, is this a true stereotype here?
It is.
This is
I'm
untrue.
totally...
This is untrue.
They say that Africans and Caribbeans have like the hardest stomachs and we can eat.
But also a prevalence for lactose intolerance, and I think it ties into that. I think
Are you lactose intolerant?
to a degree, I can't just straight drink milk the same way I did as a kid, but
Yeah.
I can take it in dosages. And again, in things, the dairy in things, baked and cooked, is not as much of an issue as straight up. So
Yeah.
I think it's overall dairy.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sitting with me. I really appreciate you. Finally, we get to talk and chat. I've interviewed you before for Couch Sessions for CMJ. You and Jason.
That was exciting.
That was a long time ago.
Thank you for having me.
Gosh, we're like old.
In some ways.
I think we're totally old friends. We'll grow old together.
30's the new 20.
Okay. All right, I'll give you that. All right, fine. So, so the people who know you in New York and people who don't know you, everybody calls you the great hustler. And you are like literally the greatest hustler in New York. You do everything from, you're an MC, you're part of a band. You also used to do booking for Southpaw. You work with Red Bull, you work with Fader. I've seen you do production stuff at Fader Fort by Southwest. You are about to do some work with children. I mean, when do you find time to just be Clarence?
Well,
in the middle of all those awesome, wonderful things that you do.
Well, thank you firstly. That's really nice. And the way you speak to it seems like a lot. But one thing I will say is I'm kind of lucky to have gotten into it at a young age as an artist. So
yeah.
It's been a pretty natural progression to doing more things. And I think for anybody in any profession, the longer you do it, it just kind of branches out and you begin to manage more components of it. As your understanding grows, it becomes easier to do more. So to me, it's just all in the world of entertainment and emerging culture and making culture emerge in different ways. And just, you know, it just came kind of natural.
You hear a lot of people talking about, I'm on that hustle, I'm doing that hustle, but a lot of them are really just sitting at home, not doing anything. What to you, since your brand is the Great Hustler, what is the definition of a hustler?
Someone who finds their own means to realize their goals. And I know that's very vague, but you have hustlers of all sorts. You know, you have hustlers in every profession. It's just a kind of a person that's skilled in the art of making it happen, you know? A go-between for a lot of things, you know. In my instance, a conduit between culture and sometimes corporations, but just business and established business. And it's a broad term and it could take on a lot of meanings, but I think it just means somebody that knows how to make it happen, has a really broad understanding of their field, and they can just get in and out of various aspects of it and make different things happen.
Okay, so what do you think are give me three top elements that are required in order for someone to call themselves a hustler?
Well, you have to know your world and know it well and know it intricately and have a network that is comprised of the people that really make your world happen. So whatever that may be, even if it's not entertainment, even if your hustle is, let's say, pharmaceuticals, I don't know, you should know everyone from your distributor to Pfizer. You should know everybody. So Ooh, just knowing your world in and out. That's
Okay.
probably the most important aspect of it.
Okay.
And then it's just really a willingness to deal with the ebb and flow, to deal with the ups and downs. If it's really meant for you, you're gonna have to take your lumps, roll with the punches, and you gotta have that will and that excitement, and it essentially has to be your purpose so that you'll stay with it and stay on it.
Okay.
And thirdly, which is a little bit different from knowing, I think you really have to love what it is
Right.
that your world is, and you have to have some kind of intimate relationship with it. It has to kind of mean a little more to you than everyone else.
So it's passion.
Yeah, passion, exactly. That's the word. Passion.
Okay. Well, I've heard a lot of people say that paying dues never really pays off. Do you believe in that?
I don't believe in that at all.
What is the definition of paying dues then?
Right. Well, it's hard to strictly define that. It's different for different folks, but
Right.
just getting in there and
For
getting,
you.
For me, it's getting really varied forms of experience, specifically in marketing,
Okay.
Talking about a world that's driven by, sales and ads, and then pushing those ads, or the establishment of a brand and then the pushing of that brand. So you really have to know the various ways these things reach people, how to utilize that media, how to communicate in that media, those different mediums. So for me, I was on the Cornerstone Fader street marketing team as
Right.
a young. I grew up in New York. When I was 19, we ran around rapping. We branded ourselves. We produced our own shows.
Right.
We produced our CDs. The different facets of marketing and just a broad base, of different things. I think that's real vital.
Okay. So, going back to how we met, which is at Southpaw, you used to be the booking manager for them, and rest in peace Southpaw, because I know a lot of us who were Southpaw patrons really, really miss the quality of shows that were put on there. And for those who don't know, you were one of the brains
I
behind
was one of the main people.
bringing a lot of that talent to there. How is it transitioning now that Southpaw is closed and moving on to the different avenues? Because
Right.
you haven't just taken it laying down like you
Right.
paused, but you just you kind of took it and were like, okay, I'm gonna make something out of this.
Yeah.
How has that transition been for you?
Well, I feel lucky in that, traditionally, especially in my field, it would be a real lull. It would be because the venue was closed abruptly. Owners got an offer they couldn't refuse, and for a booker, you book a calendar months out, and you know this, Keya, because you throw events. You are paying attention to cultural movements. You are watching somebody and their buzz rise. You're thinking to yourself, at what point will this person be able to sell the amount of tickets that can fill this room? There's a lot of factors that go into booking successfully. So
Right.
traditionally there would be almost a year lull, but I have a really great network of people that I work with, and I've been able to do a lot of great freelance corporate event work for Best Buy and Red Bull and stuff with the Red Bull Music Academy, and just a lot of great people.
And all because of what you started or what you were doing
Right.
at Southpaw.
I've built up over the years, and fortunately enough able to have it continue.
What is how do I say it? What is your favorite show that you put on so far in your career? Because you've been doing this for a while. So if you had to pick one show that you felt like you were really able to, because I know that you're a background person, so you don't really worry about getting your shine, but
Right.
that you felt the most proud of for
Okay.
putting on.
Can I pick two?
Okay, I'll give you two.
I'll take two.
And it doesn't have to be at Southpaw. It could be, because I know you did Le Poisson Rouge. I know you did
I've done
Public
other
Assembly.
stuff, but both of them are at Southpaw, and just really, really quickly, because I know I give long-winded answers sometimes.
I'm glad you know.
I'm picking these two because not only were the shows amazing, but they were culturally important, and they were kind of landmark moments from all the perspectives.
Okay.
Media, attendees, performances, importance in the market, all those things. So the first one I'm gonna say is I had Jay Davy and Elevator Fight, and I did that in conjunction with Alex Damashek from Move Forward Music. And
Yes.
as you know, Zoe Kravitz is
Yes.
the lead singer from Elevator Fight.
That was a good
Siobhan
show.
opened Jasmine Solano. So yes, that day we're like, wow, this show is great. We're bringing these great artists who were rarely in New York to New York, and an important club, important time. We get calls from Drake's management that Drake's gonna come to the show, and he's already even bought tickets, so we're excited. So I send the word out. I called my friends over at Fader so they can come get an interview. Drake comes, but then lo and behold, Lenny Kravitz shows up.
Wow.
So now you got a packed room in Brooklyn. You got Drake and Lenny Kravitz watching a show. You have a Fader interview that goes on to like announce some details for his next album. You know, you have all the good things that can come about when you're just trying, when your heart's in the right place.
Right.
And the show, of course, was amazing.
Was amazing.
It was a good show.
Yeah.
So that's one, and then a notch above that for me, we did Kendrick Lamar's first New York headline.
Word.
And to me, that was really special. Like, I had to fly this kid out here. I had to put him up in a hotel, which he wasn't particularly thrilled with, but, you know, we do better next time. And, it was well promoted. It was sold out in advance. It's the first time he had headlined in New York. And it was just an amazing show. And also me and Jason opened, so that makes it kind of special for me because our band was doing some stuff. And
Word.
Nitty Scott and YC the Cynic, two artists that I'm really big on coming out of New York. It was just a culmination of a lot of work, and it was a very culturally important show. People still talk to me about the show, even when I'm in like Texas or Miami. People will say, oh, Southpaw, I know Kendrick did a big show that people will know. So.
Okay, so that's what's up. Now, moving from Southpaw, you've done, like I said, you've done some production at the Fader Fort at South by Southwest, which is huge.
Yeah.
How, like, what kind of planning goes into something like that?
It's amazing, the machine over there at the Fader. Gotta send a shout out to Kayla LaRosa, who's no longer with them, but that's who I worked under when I was full-time at Fader. Shout outs to Andy Cohn, Rob Stone, and John Cohen, who are the owners, who always gave me a lot of opportunities. And of course, Kim Robinson, Marlena, Judd Nicky, the list goes on and on. But basically, I was the coordinator, and then I was the talent liaison backstage. So I was essentially stage managed from a talent perspective. And I worked the 2 years. I worked the Kanye West year, and then I worked the year when Wiz Khalifa and Lil B headlined. And that was just really meticulous event production to the nth degree, working with Lacey Maxwell Productions, with Converse and Fiat, and all the wonderful sponsors. That it's like a mini mall basically that gets built by some amazing producers, and it was just a really large scale production that takes like 4 to 5 months to fully like do annually. And I'm really I feel privileged to have gotten that opportunity a couple times to work with Cornerstone Fader down there. You know, I feel really lucky, and I appreciate that experience. You know, every time I go down to Austin now, I gotta go to the Fort.
You have to.
Work there.
The Fort is the one that most people, primarily, especially people who aren't performing and they're just really just coming to look, they will stay at the Fort the entire
It's the premier thing.
day.
And the free food and liquor doesn't hurt.
No, it doesn't hurt. Nor the room with all the computers and the charging stations and everything like that.
The Keya's in the crowd. Hey.
Oh, you're so stupid. Okay, so now we're going to go to the important stuff, which, I mean, your hustle on the marketing scene and the booking show scene is amazing. I know you've been an inspiration to me, so that's pretty
so nice
dope.
Of you. You're too kind.
But now, you are a musician.
I am.
And a lot of people don't get to hear how awesome you are. I remember the first time seeing you was at CMJ, and then I also saw you again when you opened up for Talib and Reese, which was a really dope show. So what is it about music that drives you? Because you also do it with your best friend, and not like your best friend who you just met like a couple days ago. I'm talking about your lifelong childhood friend, right? School, which you claim to be a baritone, but I'm gonna have to fact check that with Jason. But
and you listen to the record. That's me singing Barry on there. You know,
I'm gonna have to fact check that. I'm gonna have to check that out.
When he allows me to.
So how do you handle the music differently than what you do on the booking and marketing end?
Well, it's really helped me to progress more as an artist, getting to really understand the back end of the business, because it changed me. Like when I was growing up in New York, rapping is a very exhibitionist thing. So you are striving towards kind of standards of success that are already established. You know what I mean? You're looking for those traditional avenues to accept you. You're looking for a label. You're looking for all those things, and I experienced some of those things when I was young. You know, we got signed to an indie label. We had a record license to MTV. We had, you know, we sold records around the country. We had some fun, but as an artist, I realized controlling my entire experience and creating art just for the sake of it. You know what I mean? Having some art in the world that maybe somebody can just enjoy and learn something from, maybe heal them a little bit like music's done for me.
Yeah.
I find almost all of my satisfaction in it now.
So you use music not just as a means to, put yourself out there, but it's also a therapy for you
Yes,
too.
it's mostly therapeutic. Honestly, it's mostly therapeutic, and it's mostly like a practice in creation, a practice in expressing myself artistically, more so than like the chutzpah and all of the things. I'm not trying to blow up anymore. That's not what I'm here for. I put it out there because I love it. It means a lot to me. And I'm really proud of the stuff I make now because there's no inhibition. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not going in there with a preconceived notion of what it should be.
Right.
And it's fun.
Okay, so I asked this question to all of the musicians who I interview, and it's a loaded question. So I'm telling you now.
Uh-oh.
For you as an artist, as a writer, as everything, and then taking into consideration the fact that you do marketing and promotion, can you tell when an artist is not being genuine in their craft? That's a loaded question,
right,
isn't
and
it?
of course I don't want to come at anyone.
So you don't have to, don't name names.
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes it's so contrived, or sometimes some of their backstory doesn't match up with what they're saying.
Isn't that crazy?
And that, for me, honestly, it really hurts the experience because of how I treat music. Now, if I'm in the club or I'm in places where I'm appreciating music on a very surface level, it's totally different.
Yeah.
It's all basically what I'm hearing, you know what I mean, as opposed to what it means or any of that stuff. But for me and my taste and what I'm listening to and checking for and paying attention to, authenticity is almost everything. I can deal with the lack of talent if you're really expressing something. You know what I mean? So.
Well, we talked in the car about this a little bit, and we talked about like the phenomena of Trinidad James Jones, whatever his name is, and how he basically has only been rapping for 10 months, 11 months, well, I guess a year now, and he got a $2 million deal.
Right.
How do you, as an artist who's been busting your ass basically for years, and I know that, I don't know if you're necessarily trying to get a deal, but it kind of goes back to the notion of paying dues. It's, stuff like that.
Right.
How does that make you feel as a person who's put out projects, put out albums, performed at shows, and then you see, and while your musics are completely different, but just see somebody just come in and just be like, don't believe me, just watch, and then get a deal, and while you're still out here trying to hustle.
Right. Well, it's always been who you know, and that's always played a large role. And of course he has that access early, and that success is meant for him because it came for him, and that's what he desires, probably in all likelihood, and that's what he has. And I can't knock it, and I can't say that I internalize it because it's him, but from a cultural standpoint, I do push back on it. Because I'm like, people look at an artist emerging and they don't understand the amount of work that went into that, and as a result of that work, you're talking about employment basically. You're talking about creative professionals who all get their hands dirty making artists come up through the ranks, and this was classically the work of people emerging in any field really, but since we're talking about entertainment, we could take Date Night for example. Your show, you're giving artists from another part of the country an initial platform in a very difficult market to crack. This is work that needs to be done, you know what I mean? And as a result, you should be compensated, they should be compensated, and when this happens frequently, you get an economy, you get independent people working creatively, doing their own thing. Now, I'm not going to put Trinidad James's success in opposition to that, but if you look at somebody that puts one verse of rap on a very catchy beat and a catchy song, and within a month of it being out, goes viral on the internet, and they climb to the biggest of shows, all the work of emergence that is a lot of people's work and livelihood, it gets cut off. And when that becomes consistent, you see a music industry become crippled by it because no one is actively working, and then artists who don't necessarily deserve to take the leaps and bounds are taking those leaps and bounds, and then they're unable to deliver on a tight product, so you've invested $2 million, which is recoupable. I doubt they're handing him this money. This money is tied into a deal which has to be balanced. In all likelihood, he doesn't sell the records, as we've seen time and time again. Like Krayshawn got a $1 million deal. She sold 3,900 copies in her first week. It's 39,000. Do the math. So it's like you see a music industry losing more money by the quarter because it's just kind of cannibalizing itself because of the nature of media today.
Right.
So hopefully people will pay a little bit of attention to artists like Kendrick Lamar, who are on that major label scene, but they have longevity built into what they do.
Exactly.
Like he came up through all of these ranks, and as a result, like I just was able to express to you the show I did with him, and as a result, I can go and function in the world and work. You know what I mean? Like that's industry is not just look and glamour, it's work, literally. You know, so I just think that's an important thing. Like leaps and bounds are a little overrated. You know, it's like it's good for people to come up.
Okay. Well, you have a project that's done, and I've heard it, and I think it's dope, and I can't wait for other people to hear it.
Thanks.
Talk a little bit about it so that the people know.
Okay, well, we have a group. We are moving away from kind of hip hop and things of that nature, and it's not revisionist, more so it's just some good R&B and soul. It's a bit of R&B soul alternative vibe, and it's called The Blackness, which is like it's based on a dream that I had, and you know, in the dream, a lot of people were deterring me from going in a direction, and I decided to go in it, and then when I arrived at the place, everything went black, and I felt like I felt a lot of peace.
Wow.
And that's what The Blackness is. It's supposed to be a place of peace. And the album is called Heart-Shaped Lens, and it's a story of a man finding himself through love. And it's pretty straightforward, and we will be releasing it properly with visuals and some remixes with Nitty Scott MC and Homeboy Sandman.
Word.
This spring. And we'll do some nice intimate shows and have some fun, hopefully get around the country a bit. And thanks to people like Keya, the word will be out. So, there you have it.
Don't try to butter me up right here on this video so that people gonna be like.
All I do is butter you up. You're one of my favorite people.
Yeah,
and shout out to Jason Spain. I can't leave out my brother.
Oh,
He's the lead singer in The Blackness.
He alright. That's my buddy. I love him.
And even though Keya be frontin', I got my nice baritone going through my guitar pedal, so it's really fly.
I'm gonna have to fact check that. I said that.
Uche, shout out to Uche too. She also said I can't sing, but you know.
I'm gonna ask her since she's one of my best friends.
I like my singing, and that's what counts. That's what counts. Couch sessions, that's what counts.
All right, well, thank you so much for sitting and talking with me.
We need to thank, well, we can't point the camera at her. We have to thank this nice lady here
who's letting us.
She's been so professional about this interview that bombarded her workspace. So we're not going to put her on camera, but we're going to say
thank you, lady.
To the nice lady.
Thank you, lady. All right, well, thank you, and I wish you the best on everything.
I'll see you soon.
Yes.
I'll see you soon.
Peace.
Won't you come let me in? I said,